Grown Black folks talk, grown conversation about how people who are building equity into their lives come together to blend and extend, not to compete and destroy. I made this little mini playlist of things about equality versus equity and building personal equity since as Black people, everybody knows our stats about how much equity we have as a unit. We can't do anything necessarily about that till we take care of the issue for ourselves as much as possible. And I'm not just talking about money. Before you even deal with those things, whatever gaps there are in your personal, educational, emotional, intellectual, and mental, you're going to need to deal with those first because they're going to make it extremely difficult for you to do what you must do in this society to make your own personal equity otherwise. And then when you go out into the world, if you do not have that figured out, everybody already knows what our numbers are. But once you have achieved this, in the last video, and I had gone to bed, y'all can probably guess, you'll see this on the 28th. I've made quite a few videos in this shirt. But you'll see this later in the afternoon on the 28th. I was about to go to bed and be finished with this little mini playlist, but I couldn't sleep because there was one more thing I needed to add. One more thing I have not said explicitly, but I take it as an assumption, but I had better say it explicitly because we live in an environment that's just that toxic now as Black men and women. The key term is building. I tend to assume that we know that the purpose for us to come together for anything is to do good in that situation. However, I do recognize there are plenty of Black people who are running around, whole purpose in life is to compensate themselves for their own lack of building equity into their lives by taking it out of everyone else's. So here's what ends up happening. People who are lacking, who are insecure, and who are not interested are basically going to compete and destroy. Because what they're going to try to do is they're going to get together with people and grift them out of everything, make themselves, try to fill the emptiness in their life with the goods of someone else. This is what I was talking about in that last video we talked about. Black men come to Black women too often. Not all Black men, but this happens too often, wanting to bring their potential, and we know what their stats are, and in exchange for all of that woman's tangibles, her time, her energy, her body, her ability to produce children, and her earnings, and even a place to live based on potential. So you're offering not only intangibles, but unrealized intangibles for present tangibles. A whole lot of people are like this, and there are women who are like this too. Oftentimes, Black men and women come together broken, and so they're not in a position to build anything because the foundation is not straight. Once you get to the point that you are building equity into yourself, when you are taking care of your emotional, spiritual, mental, physical, psychological, financial needs, then you will be able to come together with other people who are doing the same thing and then blend and extend. This is why happily married couples live so long. It's not easy to be a happily married couple, but this is why they managed to do this. That's why you see those cases, these people that have been married 60, 70, 80, 90 years. I'm thinking about the Carters right now. But we also could have said Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis made it a very long way. This is how you manage to do that. Because now you're in a position to be able to enhance the life of someone else, to take it out of relationships. When people become business partners or they invest together, what they're doing is blending and extending. They each bring something they can put in to obtain some equity, and then they share the profits among each other. But this requires a mindset not to grift, but to build. And I'm not just tired because it's the end of the day, but also because I see so much grifting, so much competing for attention, so much destruction taking place. And right now, I'm seeing it among Black women content creators at the moment. The last 2 weeks have been kind of rough. Because I love Black people, I don't discriminate between the men and the women and the children. It is very painful for me to watch the adults behaving like children, because that means the children have no guide and no chance. It's very painful for me to watch it. And when I say I watch it, I don't pay a lot of attention to that content, but to know that it's going on is difficult for me. But all I can do is contribute. There's no point in me getting out here jumping into the fray because that doesn't build anything. What I do is put out information that will help you. I'm going to link back to the video about how to build personal equity. All the steps are there. So, they're very generalized, but they're things that you can do. If you're on YouTube, you can deal with step 1C, increasing your education. If you're on YouTube, you're one step from Thinkific, Udemy, all these things. If you're a Christian, you're one step away from Bible Gateway. If you do not even have a physical Bible, you can pull that up on your phone. You are one step away from resources to be able to get the life coaching, the mentoring, and the counseling, the therapy that you may need. Those are all the step 1 things. Step 2 is a choice. Stop making your past reasons to have not gone as far as you want to go into your future excuses. That's a choice. And in step 3, read your receipts and see whether or not you can get the resource that you need to do what you need to do next out of what you're already spending. And if you can't, then you really have to focus on step 1C and upgrade your ability and upgrade your skills and really get some opportunities to change that. Change that financial situation such that you have no room to do anything. And when you see that you're able to do that, then you can imagine and to envision and plan for and move toward a life that is beyond you just coping with your life and being able to actually make moves that can change it for the better. At step 4, there's a lot of specifics that I can put in there, but we're going to leave it in its simplicity to show you it's not out of reach for anybody listening to me. But see, what you want to do, particularly in the 21st century, money is made collaboratively, more so than competitively. It has been for a long time. Corporations are people. They're not people in the legal sense that they are allotted in the government of the United States because of the Supreme Court at this moment. But essentially, a whole bunch of people got together and decided to do business in a corporate fashion, like corporate worship. Whole bunch of bodies there together. The corpse is the body. Good old Latin. You got to go back a little way. But corporate means things that are done together. A corporation is basically a whole bunch of shareholders who decide they're going to go, well, it kind of develops that way. It could be only 1 or 3 people, but then you have shares in the company, so there are even people in the public who are supporting this corporate mission. The real money is made collaboratively. This is why corporations have money and we don't, because we're trying to do things on an individual basis. Yes, we can complain about the taxes. Yes, we can complain about the layoffs. Yes, we can complain about all that. But in the end, the reason that they keep doing it is because they have a lot of people working together to make sure they can keep doing it on a whole lot of levels. Meanwhile, we're out here trying to do this individualism thing. And as Africans in America, this is not even our culture. This is not the culture that works best for anyone, but we function best in a healthy community environment that is communitarian, where we think about the needs of everyone and are collaborative. As a Christian, a whole lot of us are in church, but you know how, and this will be in our intercessory prayer Bible study that's coming up. The other reason why I got to end this playlist today, because I really have to buckle down and get an outline done for that this week. We sit around and do church things and we never realize how much it is a we gospel, as Brother Leonard, the truth seeker, often said. The first prayer that the Lord taught his disciples to pray was not my Father, but our Father, which art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and deliver us and forgive us our debts as we forgive those who are indebted to us. Some versions have forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Depends on whether you read it in Matthew or Luke and it's late in the day and I'm getting confused. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors, or forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So, see, even there, the Christian life is not an individualism type deal. So, in a Christian nation, there is no, if the United States were a Christian nation, by no means would we be separating ourselves into corners and only thinking about how we step on the next person. By no means would there be chattel making organizations who are still intent on the very same things that James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, and George Washington were intent on, which is enslaving everyone they could and ignoring everybody they couldn't that they didn't feel was on their level, including their wives and their girl children as adults. But see, they had a collaborative system. Europe was out here having decided as a unit that it wanted to conquer the world. And about 7/10 of the world ended up having to deal with that. And we're out here as black people trying to work getting picked off as individuals. Which is why I had to come back and make this video, because I want to see black people survive into the second half. If I live, I would like to see black people survive into the second half of the 21st century. I will be 70, I will be 69 in 2050. I would like to still see African Americans be of some force in this country, but we have a lot of hard decisions to make. Building equity in ourselves is the Bible is not the Bible so much. Well, actually, the Bible does have a statement about it, but I can't quite remember it, so we're gonna go to the song. It's late in the evening and the sun is going down, as our ancestors used to say. The economy is changing rapidly, and we're still trying to deal with fundamental things. Focusing on building is very important. And then once you focus on building and bringing equity to the table, then you can extend it and blend it. You know, that whole conversation about men want to ask women, what do you bring to the table? Sir, have a table, a good one. Put everything on it that you think needs to be on it to build something with someone. And before you have that conversation with, before you ask a woman to do that, get the table full. Show that you can do that. Because that shows about how much you put equity into yourself that you be able to offer that to someone else. No reasonable woman who also is secure and builds equity is going to leave that table unadorned. That's just not going to happen. It's not in the nature of a healed woman to look at what a healed man offers and just consume it and compete and destroy. That's just not going to happen with healed people. But if you're still operating in fear and scarcity, if both are still operating in fear and scarcity, nothing can happen but another generation of broken children. And folks, we are running out of time. Running out of time. People who focus on building equity into their lives are able to blend and extend when they come together with other people. I'm not married, but I blend and extend about $150 million worth of stuff in this world with black people. I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. I'm 42. I have not yet seen my upside. Not yet. And I know that I'll find the partners that I need as I go because I know how to do this. And I don't want you to be without the footsteps to learn. Everybody doesn't start from the same place, but everybody can start with steps 1A, 1B, and 1C to fill those gaps and then choose not to allow their reasons from the past to be their excuses from the future. Anybody can do that. I'm going to link to the video. It's going to be over there. I never can get this figured out. Mirrored images and such. But the point I'm trying to make to you, become a person who's able to come ready with the ability and the mind to build. And the other thing about this in closing, look at the doors that opens. I just think about the YouTubers that I know who are doing some amazing things. Um, there are so many, more than I can name here, but people that respect me. I do very simple videos. There's not a lot of editing here. I just come up here and run my mouth and hope that it's helpful to you. But the doors that it opens for me to be able to take the knowledge and the wisdom that I have been able to receive and build it into your life opens doors for me that otherwise would not be open. You too can learn how to build, blend, and extend, and build a circle of stronger people around you. if you will. Now, if you won't, you're going to get wiped out. As an individual, you will not be able to compete successfully against the forces that are combining to change the face of the society. You simply will not be able to do that. If you don't know how to blend and extend and build with like-minded people, you're not going to make it. I don't want to see that happen to you. I'm tired of seeing Black men swept into prison. I'm tired of working with broken Black children because the father's not there. I'm also tired of dealing with Black women who are broken because of them not able to figure out that there are more choices than those broken men, in addition to whatever she's dealing with herself, and having to see the cycle repeat. I'm not tired of the work, but I'm tired of seeing the cycle repeat when it doesn't have to. Now, what I'm called to do, I will continue to do, but it's just like we don't have to live like this, y'all. We can do better than what we're doing. Do the steps for your personal equity. Plug your holes. Video will be right there-ish. Plug the holes. Please get it done. Please make it so that in 2050, you are here in a powerful way, building, blending, and extending into the future. And for the future, or whoever you choose to make your legatees. If I don't have any children, there will still be some young people. You don't have to have a physical lineage to make some things happen. I'm living proof of that. But you do have to have something to pass on of value. You still have to build, blend, and extend. I'm not going to be coming up here having this conversation with y'all when I'm 69 years old. We're going to move on from this. By the time I'm 69, we're moving on from this. I'm going to get myself an older woman avatar for this. We're moving on from this. We are moving on from this by the time I am 69 years old. We're not about to come up here and do this. And for those of you who don't want to move on, okay. If I don't make it to age 69, this video will be here 27 years from now if YouTube survives to let you know you missed the train and you didn't have to. Wherever you are, whoever you are, Black man, Black woman, or if you happen to be a whole nother race, I want you to make it. Please check the video that's going to be in one of these corners about how you build personal equity. And go do your work. As I said in another video, despair later about your chances in life. Because if you don't get your work done now, you'll have plenty of time to despair later. But instead, please do your work. And I hope to see you prosperous in the year 2050. All right, for real. Whatever time of day it is for you, it is way too late today, and I need to finish this mini series. Y'all have a good day now, or good night, or good morning, or wherever you happen to be. I'm going to bed, and I hope to wake up, and y'all will see this in due time. And I hope that it inspires you and helps you to understand that you can get moving and that you need to do that so you can be someone who builds, blends, and extends instead of destroying every single thing you touch. I don't want that for you. And I hope that has nothing to do with the day that you're about to have. Have a great day and goodbye. Thank you for listening.